Hello, everyone. Welcome to the News Browse News broadcast. CTV News reports that British Columbia's NDP government is closely monitoring and considering support for a significant lawsuit filed in California against artificial intelligence company OpenAI and its CEO, Sam Altman. The lawsuits brought by families of victims from a mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge, BC, accuse OpenAI's ChatGPT program of aiding and abetting a mass shooting. Attorney General Nikki Sharma expressed the government's sympathy for the victims' families and their pursuit of justice, stating the province is connecting with legal counsel to assess how it can assist. Premier David Eby acknowledged that California's legal system is known for awarding substantially larger settlements than Canadian jurisdictions. He also announced that the RCMP's criminal investigation into the Tumbler Ridge shooting is nearing completion, which will pave the way for a coroner's inquest and potentially a public inquiry if deemed necessary. Eby emphasized the government's commitment to ensuring the victims' families receive answers, whether pertaining to OpenAI's role, mental health services, or firearms handling in British Columbia. CTV News reports that the British Columbia government has announced the addition of 17 new major investments to its list of priority projects, aiming to accelerate economic growth. These projects are part of the Look West plan, launched last year, which now sees $88 billion in proposed major projects on track over the next 3 years. Premier David Eby emphasized that despite recent discussions around Indigenous rights legislation, particularly a court ruling on mineral claims being inconsistent with the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples Act, DRIPA, these investments will not be undermined. Eby highlighted that companies are investing at record levels, demonstrating a sophisticated understanding of the province's jurisdiction and the availability of strong Indigenous partnerships. Among the 5 major mines already permitted under the program are the Quintet Coal Mine, an extension to the Highland Valley Copper Mine, and the Eskay Creek Mine, signaling BC's push towards becoming a more independent economy. Amnesty International's latest report, as detailed by Global News, paints a grim picture of a deepening housing crisis affecting Indigenous peoples across Canada. The report, based on a 2-year investigation, specifically points to severe overcrowding, aging infrastructure, and extended delays in new home construction within the Atikamek community of Manawan, Quebec. Community leaders describe families regularly seeking emergency housing due to these deteriorating conditions, which compromise fundamental human rights, including the right to adequate housing, health, and safety. The organization emphasizes that this situation extends beyond Manawan, reflecting a widespread issue across numerous Indigenous communities. The report underscores the urgent need for significant government action to address not only the construction of new homes, but also the foundational rebuilding of communities and the support of Indigenous self-determination. From Global News, the BC Supreme Court has ruled that the provincial government's legislation to overhaul the regulation of lawyers, notaries, and other legal professions is not unconstitutional. This decision, reported by the Canadian press, rejects legal challenges filed by the Law Society of BC and the Trial Lawyers Association of British Columbia. These groups argued that Bill 21, which creates a new regulator with a non-majority of elected lawyers on its governing board, unconstitutionally undermines the independence of the legal profession and grants overly broad powers to the government. They cited a 150-year history of self-governance and warned of erosion of independence. However, Chief Justice Ron Skolrud stated that the powers granted to the Cabinet in Bill 21 are consistent with the principle of an independent bar and do not constitute direct government regulation. Premier David Eby welcomed the decision, defending the legislation as a means to increase public confidence in the oversight of lawyers and potentially lead to more affordable legal services. The Trial Lawyers Association indicated they would likely appeal the ruling. City news everywhere has learned that the Canadian federal government is set to outsource the handling of air passenger complaints. This decision comes as the Canadian Transportation Agency grapples with a record backlog of 97,000 unresolved cases. The government intends to adopt a European model, utilizing independent adjudicators to resolve issues ranging from refunds to accessibility concerns. Additionally, the upcoming legislation seeks to simplify the Air Passenger Rights Charter, which has been pending implementation for 3 years. This initiative follows Air Canada's recent launch of a pilot project, using an external arbitrator for compensation claims, a move met with some skepticism from consumer advocates. Both the airlines and the government's actions signal growing frustration with the current framework for addressing passenger grievances. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.